All right,
I just want to
I'm liking this conversation. I just want to get to some more names here.
Well, no, I'll tie it into two guys that make me nervous, which is the two Bucs guys. With the Egbuka drafting and Evans, not being as great as he was when Godwin was healthy. Godwin now back, and obviously Jalen McMillan doing what he did. Like, I wonder, Heath, do you like Judy better than the two Bucs guys?
Yes.
Wow.
Because like I dropped. That's one thing. The only thing that I did was Thursday and Friday so far from the draft in terms of adjusting rankings there, and like those two guys make me nervous as hell right now. Evans and Godwin. I'm still ranking them right now as number 2 receivers, but they move much closer to Jerry Jeudy than they were prior to the draft. Like, it's Godwin. Is he healthy? Does this draft pick sort of signal a sign that he's not going to be 100% early in the season? And again, as we talked about, those first 7 games for Mike Evans were not what the last 6 or 7 were when Chris Godwin wasn't there. So now you're throwing in a better Jalen McMillan, a high-profile rookie, and a guy who was outperforming him and is probably going to get more targets than him. Like, it's nerve-wracking for those two guys, at least for me.
Makes me want to target Baker Mayfield because he's going to slip. At best, he's QB7 coming off the board this year.
He could be QB6, depending on how people view Mahomes at this point.
So Evans in the first 6 games of the year was number 14 overall, but number 23 per game in full PPR, number 21 per game in full PPR. And Chris Godwin was the number 4 wide receiver per game. So I just struggle with this one because of the injury to Godwin. I don't know what we're getting from Godwin. And if Godwin is not 100%, if Godwin's not 80%, then Evans probably going to be awesome again. Do you guys, all 3 of you, how many of these Bucs receivers, of the 2 of them, are going to be top 24 receivers in your rankings?
2.
They both will. But again, I had them, I think both, and me with older receivers at this point, he's going to be 32 with Evans. I had them both, I think, like top 18. And I think Evans might have fallen to 18. And Godwin is barely hanging on in the top 24 right now.
I think I have them 23 and 24.
Oh, okay. I need some names then, because I still have them both top 20. So let me give you some names of receivers I've got behind them. You tell me if they're ahead of them in your rankings. McLaurin.
Yes.
Ahead.
DJ Moore.
Ahead.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
I have them ahead of Xavier Worthy right now, but I'm really, really uncomfortable with ranking the Chiefs.
Garrett Wilson.
Ahead.
I have the Bucs both ahead of Garrett Wilson.
DK Metcalf.
Bucs both ahead.
Bucs
Marvin ahead. Harrison Jr.
I think I have it. Evans, Godwin, Harrison.
Marvin Mims. I'm just kidding. But it's interesting. It's interesting how you guys feel about those 2, and I don't think you're wrong to feel that way, especially with Evans.
You have Cortland Sutton ahead of them?
I've got something behind them.
I got Sutton ahead of him.
No.
Man, these are going to be some fun debates. You know what I'm seeing now that was interesting? So in the first 6 games of the year, on a per game basis, Godwin is top 5. Evans is just inside the top 24. The last 7 games of the year, when Evans comes back, Evans is 5th per game and McMillan is 26th per game. So it's almost exactly the same thing, just with Evans being as good as Godwin and McMillan. Yep, you get what I'm saying.
You got to hope that McMillan really just took advantage. If you're in the Evans Godwin camp, like fully, you got to hope that McMillan just took advantage of Godwin not being there, and that Egbuka is, hey, you're our guy in 2026. Like that's what you got to hope for. Because if they're all 4 getting targets, it's going to be difficult for all of them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't really take away from Metcalf and Lockett as a rookie, right? I'm just trying to think of like first round picks.
But that was 3 guys.